right, if elections were to happen today, you just saw that it is the NDA that is coming back with a larger vote share and a larger seat share. But what is the state of the opposition, Rajdeep? In the last trackers of the mood of the nation, we had clearly seen that Rahul Gandhi and the Congress was doing well, better at least in the last mood of the nation polls. But that was in August, and things have changed dramatically since then. Many states where the Congress and the opposition has done terribly, the NDA has triumphed. So let's take a look in the second part of our Mood of the Nation on how the opposition is faring, on what the mood of the nation is on that account. All right, so the best person suited to lead the India Bloc alliance, if at all there is an India Bloc, Rahul Gandhi, and if he is standing at 29%, Mamta Banerjee at 7%, Arvind Kejriwal at 6%, Akhilesh Yadav at 6%. If you look at the tracker there, Rahul Gandhi since August 2025 has risen by 1%, a marginal decline of Mamta Banerjee, Arvind Kejriwal, sharp decline if you go back the last 2 years, Akhilesh Yadav, marginal increase of just about 1%. Let's get you the second question that the Mood of the Nation posed to the respondents' opinion on Rahul's performance as leader of opposition. What does India think? What is the mood of the nation on the leader of opposition in the Lok Sabha and the one who leads the India Alliance? Outstanding, 24%, good, 20%, average 18%, poor 17%, very poor 14%. So good in all 44%, poor 32%. Marginal drop in the good percentage since the last Mood of the Nation poll. Let's go on now to the other question that was posed to our respondents. Performance of Congress as the opposition. Good 47%, poor 32%. But you know, we're going to get you the tracker as well of the Mood of the Nation polls over the course of the last 2 years. And you will see that the Congress, though had risen to a 47% in August 2025, it's fallen by 6% in January 2026. And that, of course, Rajdeep, comes at the back of multiple states that have gone to polls, in the last 7-8 months, and the opposition completely getting swept aside by the might of the NDA.
That's right. Clearly, what the Mood of the Nation is showing compared to August is while the BJP has held on, stabilized, Prime Minister Modi's ratings remain high, there has been some kind of a dip that the opposition has faced. Before we go deep into the opposition, because we are now joined by Yashwant Deshmukh of C Voter, I just want two caveats to be put out, Yashwant. First, can you tell us the methodology? How many respondents do you have, and when was this poll done?
Well, in the MOTN, the questions that we are showing on the screen, Rajdeep, that is done in the last 8 weeks, and that is almost like 35,000 plus respondents out there. And there are almost 90,000 plus respondents in our tracker since 15th of August issued till now, which we have used consolidated for the vote and seats projection at the state level.
So this is 35,000 or 90,000 overall?
This is overall 125,000 plus. Actually, you have to
90,000 plus 35,000.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the sample size, which is a significantly large sample size, and it's a daily tracker, as you know it. I mean, we have been doing it day in and day out, and we can see the way it is going. However, one thing which I want to say it here, Raj, first of all, congratulations for the 50th anniversary of India today. These milestones are very important, Rajdeep, because they are important for us as well. This year also marks our 25 year of association with India today. So it's 50th year of India today and 25th year of India Sea Voter doing Mood of the Nation and other service for India today.
And this is, of course, in an era where no film, even Dhurandhar, struggles to make a silver jubilee or golden jubilee. They make a lot of money, but not silver jubilee, golden jubilee. The second part I wanted to know, your projected seat share for the BJP is 287. That's up by about 20 odd seats compared to what it was in August. 352 for the NDA. That's again up by about 29 seats compared to August. Where are these numbers coming from? Where is the opposition declining and where is the BJP gaining?
I think if you compare it with the 2024 Lok Sabha verdict, Rajdeep, the biggest changes are being witnessed in the states where BJP had faced the setback, unexpected setback, including Maharashtra, UP, Rajasthan. So these are the areas where arguably BJP has improved and arguably the Congress numbers have gone down. But there are also some few new things which are coming up. Like in this round, we can clearly see a very significant advantage for the BJP for the first time in the state of Telangana. And that is something which is unique, because if you see the vote share rise, you will also realize that BJP's vote share has gone up, even though marginally, but even it has gone up in West Bengal. It hasn't really converted in that kind of a number that for them in West Bengal yet. But to see that they are holding up the vote share of 40% plus in West Bengal underlines the fact that West Bengal has become a bipolar contest now, and it is getting more and more bipolar.
But is it as simplistic, you know, to extrapolate what you're looking at Lok Sabha numbers, Yashwant, and extrapolate them where you're looking at particular states? Because we have upcoming elections. You know, you have elections coming up in the state of West Bengal.
And
if these numbers
correct,
are to go by.
Preeti.
Right.
You are absolutely correct. This particular assessment is only for the Lok Sabha. But please remember that the Modi dividend for BJP is generally in the Lok Sabha number and less and less on the Vidhan Sabha number.
So can we make one thing clear, you know, and a caveat there? For those of our viewers who are trying to extrapolate these numbers and say that, okay, the BJP is going to do better in West Bengal, you know, should hold on a little, because we are looking at Lok Sabha numbers and you really cannot compare and, you know, juxtapose it with the state election which is coming up for the state of West Bengal.
Certainly wait patiently, Preeti, because we do have the tracker numbers for all those states, but I mean, not today. Certainly, Rajdeep and we will certainly be discussing that sometime very soon.
Okay, let's look at the opposition. We'll also look at what we didn't do in the previous section. What are the strengths of the Modi government? What are the weaknesses? My producer will put those numbers up. But first, the opposition itself. Chengappa, what this is showing, Rahul Gandhi's performance, outstanding at the moment, 24%, good 20%. That's 44%. But there is a significant also number which see that either average poor or very poor. Do you believe, when you look at these numbers, that Rahul Gandhi is now undoubtedly the face of the opposition? That is being proven in our Mood of the Nation. When people ask who is your preferred choice as an opposition leader, by and large, not just Congress, but even other voters look at Rahul Gandhi. But he isn't able to come anywhere close to Mr. Modi's numbers. How do you see that? That just as elections are becoming in some parts bipolar, when it's a personality contest, Mr. Modi still stands well above Rahul Gandhi. Or is that an unfair question to Rahul Gandhi himself?
I know Rahul Gandhi is a favorite punching bag for a lot of politicians and journalists. But let's give credit where it's due. He certainly, though there has been a dip in, in terms of his performance, overall he has emerged as the prime challenger to Prime Minister Modi, as well as, if you look at it, he is seen as the leader of the India alliance, quite overwhelmingly over the others. What has happened, unfortunately, and it's also his problem as well, is that the Congress has had a string of defeats since its good performance, say, compared to what it did in the past in the 2024 Lok Sabha elections. They should have won Haryana. They made the mistake of being complacent. They lost it. They should have bandied the India alliance together, although they were a junior partner in Maharashtra. They should have brought them together and strategized far, far better than what they had done. They would have had better results. Then when you come to Bihar again, you saw the kind of dissonance that happened with their partners over there, the RJD, and therefore they lost really good opportunities to consolidate what they did in 2024. They didn't push it. On Rahul Gandhi's part, let's give him credit. The vote chori campaign that he's done, that has gained traction. I'll just finish, Preeti, and then I'll see. Certainly has brought him to the limelight, and people appreciate it. But the problem is, he seems too much of a one-trick horse when he does that. There are large issues that he could have attacked in the manner that he did with vote chori, the systematic manner, the performance of the government, and looked at the various programs, the economy, foreign policy. There were a lot of issues. They could have expanded the ambit and criticized the government and come through. And at the same time, he must, as leader of the opposition, project himself not just as the angry young man or middle-aged at the moment, but someone who lauds the government when it does well and whacks it when it doesn't. I mean, that kind of maturity needs to come into
the narrative
play.
that has been played where Rahul Gandhi is concerned, vote chori, we're going to get onto the figures later. But if we just look, both Yashwant and Rajdeep and Raj, if you get in a bit of the micro data coming in here on which Congress leaders best suited to lead the party. And why I bring this piece of data up, Rajdeep, is that it was only in November 2024 that Priyanka Gandhi actually became a member of parliament, which was November 2024, where she came into the Rajya Sabha. More vocal, vociferous, putting her voice forward. So interesting there, because our last mood of the nation was conducted right before that in August. So Yashwant, even then, with the advent of Priyanka Gandhi in parliament making those speeches, which have gone down really well with at least, those who view the opposition very closely, even then, the demarcation is very clear where, our respondents are concerned. They're clearly picking Rahul Gandhi, by a huge margin to lead the opposition than even Priyanka Gandhi.
That would be slightly unfair to Priyanka, Preeti, because, Rahul has been there for a really long time. Priyanka has just entered, and somehow the message among the voter is that she is not allowed to take the lead. I don't know why, but when we discuss it with the respondents, when they give their answers, somehow this feeling comes in that she will be not allowed to lead. If you ask a direct question, which by the way, in one of the MOTNs we did earlier, about asking a direct question, Priyanka Gandhi actually came up with almost like 36 or 37% of people saying that, okay, she is probably a better bet for the Congress to lead in. So it would be unfair that she is unable to come up. In fact, it is quite credible.
Why didn't you ask the direct? No, but then why didn't you ask the direct question?
True.
That would have given us a clearer picture.
Because if you look
when I look at this graphic, it gives a very unclear picture, Yashwant.
Well, Rajdeep, I will make it a point as Rajdeep's question in the next poll that I run. You give me the wordings, whichever word you want to put it in, and I will certainly get back to you with the answers.
Also, let's, the fact is, let's not detract credit from Rahul Gandhi. He may not be as eloquent as Priyanka Gandhi is there, and therefore you can see in this TV-friendly kind of political scenario, she gets the marks. Where I think he really lacks is providing an alternative to Prime Minister Modi and the vision that he has. He did have a little vision that was there in 2024 when he talked of social justice. He hasn't broad-based that. He hasn't really worked on that aspect and provided an economic vision that will challenge the NDA and Prime Minister Modi.
That's a good point, because let's look at the weaknesses in a moment of the Modi government, where they are seen as strong and where they are seen as weak. But Charan Singh Sapra, national spokesperson of the Congress, joins us, along with others who are joining us at this moment. Tuhin Sinha of the BJP. Your first reactions to what has been projected so far. You take it, Charan Singh Sapra, first. We'll come to the NDA government failures with Tuhin Sinha, but this Rahul factor. Many see Rahul Gandhi as your strength and your weakness. He gives the opposition or gives the Congress party some kind of a vigor when he's out there, leading you from the front. But at the same time, when he's pitted against Prime Minister Modi, there's a huge gap. You believe that Rahul Gandhi, as Raj Chengappa is suggesting, needs to redefine himself. He can't be the permanent angry or angry young or angry middle-aged man. He has to look at specific issues and issues that will resonate emotionally, connect with people perhaps far more strongly.
See, Rajdeep, one thing is clear that Rahul Gandhi is the prime challenger to the Narendra Modi or the Narendra Modi government. And if Mr. Chengappa, I respect him a lot, but if he's saying that, if he's trying to say that Rahul Gandhi has not sufficiently projected certain issues, let me remind him the two Padyatras. The two Padyatras which Rahul Gandhi ji had taken, those were on the farmer distress issue, the economic downfall issue. All these issues were the inflation was there. He had taken up various issues in parliament also, the federalism and the center-state relationship
but
issue.
Charan Singh Sapra, the Bharat Jodo Yatra is now 3 years ago. We are now in 2026. At that time, Rahul Gandhi got a bump. He benefited from the Bharat Jodo Yatra. What are the new issues where he is able to consistently, I repeat, consistently gear out the Modi government?
Yes, even today he has been consistently talking on inflation, consistently talking on economy. consistently talking on the downfall of the rupee, consistently talking on the foreign policy, consistently talking on the education, health, and the social sector. He has been talking on all this. He has been talking on the way.
The charge against Rahul Gandhi has been that he's been consistently inconsistent. And I'll tell you why. You talk about Yatra. See what happened in Bihar. He took out a Yatra, no, on vote chori. Now, did it track in Bihar? Not quite. But has the narrative of vote chori stuck? We're going to get down to the numbers. I want to bring in Tuhin Sinha into this conversation, and we'll ask our producers to pull out the numbers on is Rahul's vote chori allegation, because of late what you have seen is a constant and very consistent Sapra Saab, hammering of vote chori allegations by Rahul Gandhi and the Congress party against the Election Commission and government. Let's pull out the figures. Is Rahul's vote chori allegation an issue for voters? And Tuhin Sinha, this is something you might be a little worried about, because you've come on multiple of my shows and Rajdeep shows and said, what is this vote chori? Nobody cares, where the people are concerned. People care. Tuhin Sinha, it matters a lot. 40% of our respondents feel it matters a lot. Yes, to some extent, 14% of them. That makes 54% of our respondents say vote chori is an issue and it matters to the public. Only 27% say it doesn't, and no longer a pressing issue, 10%. Now, it might not be sticking electorally. That doesn't mean the narrative is not tracking to Tuhin Sinha. It is, as per numbers.
Well, good evening. Good evening, Preeti. Good evening, everybody. Well, I never said it doesn't matter. What I have said is that Rahul Gandhi, when he makes those allegations, he does not make sense. Because if you look at it in the trajectory, if you look at the journey of his last 18 months, from EVM tampering to voter list, to vote chori, to, finally the allegations of the PMC. So he has not even been consistent in the last 18 months. If 40% people believe that those allegations make sense, obviously, 40%, are people who would vote for the opposition, who might not vote for the BJP. So I don't think there is anything much to read into that. The overall results of your survey are very reassuring for BJP.
No, the big headline numbers are reassuring for the BJP, but specifically on vote chori, it may not be winning him votes. But people are, in a way, at least, it's registering with people. 40%, it matters a lot, is even higher than what the Congress's numbers are at the 40%, 54%. This is one of the few issues where the opposition seems to have at least built a narrative. You can't deny that. And the government, it reflects, in a way, whether there's enough confidence in that sense on the Election Commission as well.
Well, should I take your survey more seriously than the Bihar results? My inference of the Bihar results is that people punished Rahul Gandhi for the fake allegations right on the eve of the Bihar elections. Imagine AIMIM got 5 seats in Bihar. Congress party got 6 seats. That is the condition of the Congress party because of these vague, because of these baseless allegations.
The fact is, you can't come here and cherry pick. You can't gloat about the numbers where it comes, because the headline numbers clearly are in your favor. Much better.
No, I'm telling you about the timing, right? 2024, but
you can't deny the micro data there. I know Charan Singh Sabra wants to come in, but
I am linking it with the timing of his allegations. Allow me to complete. Allow me to complete. Okay. Why I'm saying it? Sir. He made those allegations on the eve of Bihar voting, right? So obviously they had the impact on Bihar voting, which is what we saw. The Congress getting decimated to its lowest numbers.
Let me bring in another set of data to maybe.
Can I just?
Charan Singh Sabra, will you stay with me? Allow me to bring in the next set of data, which will only help you, sir. Believe me. And I'll bring in Yashwant on that, as well as Raj. Rajdeep, on the question of are elections free and fair in India? Now, this is a charge that the Congress, every day says that elections in this country are compromised at the behest of the Election Commission. 37% of our respondents feel no, that elections are not free and fair in India. 57% of them, of course, feel yes. I don't know what side you're looking at, Rajdeep, but if 37% of the people in this country who we have spoken to, our respondents, feel that elections are not free and fair, there might be, voters for the India Alliance. Nevertheless, this is a cause for concern.
Well, there are two ways to look at it. One, there are voters of the, look at the numbers of the India Alliance of the parties, non-BJP parties. They're roughly around this. If I'm not a voter today of the NDA, I'm not fully convinced that elections are free and fair. The voters of the NDA are 47%, and 10% more believe elections are free and fair. I think we have to separate the two issues. Are elections in India broadly free and fair, I think, and Yashwant can tell us specifically what question he asked. I think most Indians will say, हाँ, चुनाव तो ठीक-ठाक होते हैं. Lekin, when you break it down and say, is there vote chori, then the numbers are more troubling. Yashwant, you want to explain the contradiction? 54% are agreeing that there is some kind of vote chori, but 57% are saying elections are free and fair.
Let me put it this way. They are not agreeing that there is some kind of puchi. They say that these allegations are serious and they want clarity and they want transparency in the process.
But they are saying elections are free and fair.
Listen, because the people, you said 37% are opposition voters, but opposition doesn't mean the opposition at the national level. These 37%, Rajdeep, also include BJP supporters from West Bengal. These 37% also include AIADMK supporters in Tamil Nadu. So basically what is happening here is that there is a section which feels when they are not winning properly, they feel that something is odd, something is not matching up, number one. Number two, they trust election process, they trust election commission, but they want the process to be absolutely crisp, clear, and transparent. They want election commission to be more forthcoming, more taking the decisions in the right way. They are supporting SIR, by the way. Huge, overwhelming majority of the Indians support SIR.
Let's bring it. Okay, on that note, Yashwant, stay with me. On that note, let's bring out the number, Rajdeep, is on the question of is SIR process free from political bias? What do the respondents say? Practically, the number is very close to our elections free and fair. So, which is 50% say yes, the process of SIR is free from political bias. 38% say no, there is political bias in the SIR process. Complete, yes.
So what I genuinely believe that people at large, regardless of their political ideology or voting preference, they believe that elections are good, they trust the election commission, but somehow when you keep on raising an issue, right or wrong, I'm not going into that debate right now, it plants doubts in the mind of the voters. Okay, now the voters are not saying that election commission chore hai, Ganesh Kumar istifa do, and that kind of rhetoric. Voters are not going in that direction. All they want, SIR should be carried out, but it should be carried out in the most transparent possible way. And if there are allegations of vote chori and all that thing, it should be, dealt with. It should be taken forward in the utmost seriousness, and election commission should be working out to level up and clear those doubts from the voters' mind. So these are the things which are as a split in terms of voters' race. Now from here, how do you go forward for the election reforms? Everybody wants election reforms. There are so many questions. You have already shown the question of, if I'm not wrong, in the first part of the thing, whether giving the cash doles before the election is correct.
That's coming up.
Yeah.
Okay, let's bring it up.
I saw initially in somewhere, so I thought that you had already told that in the first part. I'm sorry about
we
that.
haven't. Rajdeep, should I just bring in those numbers?
Please.
Let's get in those numbers right now. Should parties be allowed to promise or distribute freebies? Yes, only 19%. 50% of people say no, but clearly they are voting in for the government despite knowing that it's not what they want.
That's what I'm saying. People are extremely aligned with the progressive agenda. If you talk to them about the reforms, they want it. That doesn't mean that do not trust election commission.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that they not trust of electoral process in India. Making it better and better, yes, there is a thumping mandate for making the processes better.
But this is and Raj, maybe you'd want to reflect on that. And let's bring in, Rajdeep, our next question. Who is responsible for stopping parties from promising freebies? Now, read it, viewers, with the question that we had asked earlier, where you had a whopping 50% that said that freebies should not be distributed before elections. So who is responsible for stopping parties from promising freebies? People understand that 44% of respondents feel it is the responsibility of the Election Commission. The Election Commission needs to crack the whip. 44% of the people, our respondents, feel so. 22% feel that the court should step in. The Supreme Court voters themselves, 20%. No one should stop it, it's just 6%. But Rajdeep, now this is where our respondents know that Election Commission is responsible. They don't want freebies, yet they are voting for this government despite of not wanting it.
Look, this is where there are lots of caveats to be put. I think we need to separate somewhere electoral preferences, which party I vote for and why, with what is my mood when I'm asked a straight question by Yashwant's team, do you support freebies or not? Many people will say, no, ye sab muft mein de rahe hain, it's wrong, ye nahi hona chahiye. But when I get 10,000 rupees before a BR election, who will I vote for? I think you see, that's why I think we need to look at the nuances. It's very well to say, should parties be allowed to promise or distribute freebies? 50% are saying no. A substantial number of those 50% who are beneficiaries or labharthis of those freebies may well vote for that particular party. So we need to make that distinction. Similarly with SIR and the other issues that you raised. If you look at about a decade ago when CSDS used to do polls on election commission credibility, the numbers would be 75%, 80%. 80% would say, no, election commission is very good in this country. The numbers have come down. Please understand, in a democracy like India, which has, unlike our neighbors, held elections consistently without violence, with minimal violence for so many years, it is worrying if even 38 or 40% people are saying we have some kind of concern over whether the elections are free and fair in terms of whether there's vote chori.
No, I think that's problematic.
So I think there is so I think, therefore, as I said, the direct question may give you one number, but it also reveals some level of misgivings that now seem to be lingering on. I don't know whether Raj, you agree with that there are voters out there who are concerned with the direction that Indian democracy at times is taking, particularly electoral democracy.
You know, it's a very interesting set of questions and the answers that came through, and they are linked in some way, starting from Rahul Gandhi's vote chori, the fact that 38% believe that the elections could be biased when it is being conducted, and what you had also said in the other subsequent questions that were there. They all are a great cause for concern, because even if 38%, that's a large number who believe that it is biased, and they give that opinion, it is for the Election Commission of India, as they try to say, even when it comes to freebies, to stop them from giving it at the doorstep of an election, or just when they're about to announce it. I mean, the Election Commission of India should take cognizance of these things. This has nothing to do with ideology, nothing to do with party preferences. We all care for democracy, and we want, this is the pride of India, that we have free and fair elections. If that in some way is being sullied, that is a cause for concern. And I think these numbers, this particular poll brings that out, that the special intensive revision, however necessary it is, the manner in which is being conducted, as Yashwant said, transparency is very critical. People want to know that this is a fair process. And I think the Election Commission has to be held accountable to this and go into these issues rather than just brush it away and say, well, it's, majority says that it is free and fair. That isn't. Even if 10% object, not even 30%, we should get deeply into this question.
Okay. In that sense, I think these numbers should worry the Election Commission. But Charan Singh Sapra, politics is also about winning elections. When we started today's Mood of the Nation, it shows the BJP still very, very rock solid in its numbers, in fact, increasing its numbers. Prime Minister's popularity rock solid. So while specific narratives like vote chori may be resonating with people, they are concerned, it is not resulting in a translation into changing voting preferences. Should that not worry you? The question I asked even my earlier panelists was trust factor. People mein abhi bhi Modi ji mein vishwas hai. And that vishwas factor is holding Mr. Modi and the BJP in good stead.
See, Rajdeep, all these three figures which you have given of vote chori and elections not fair and SIR not free, this shows that the credibility of the Election Commission is at stake. This is what Rahul Gandhi has been projecting again and again. He has been giving various examples also. He got so many proofs also. He's not just saying in air. He's giving with proofs that there is a vote chori going on. And when this special intensive revision becomes a special intensive rigging, when the election commissioner doesn't act like an umpire, he acts like a goalkeeper of BJP, then there are definitely things going to happen in the list. A customized voter list has been made of BJP. The process is on. The bulk deletions, the bulk additions, the favors being done to the BJP leaders during the SIR. We are not against SIR. We are saying that SIR
do you have numbers about public Do you have numbers about specifically public faith in the Election Commission?
No, I don't think. Again, now this is a question which you say, Yashwant,
No, but-
you should have
but
answered a direct
already-
question.
is there a question?
No,
Is there
there
a question
isn't. No,
related?
we don't have that question.
Public faith to democracy? No.
We don't have that.
Okay.
Rajdeep's not very happy with Yashwant's questions.
No, I'm
There is
just saying.
a question about whom they trust the most.
Yes.
And there the armed forces come out on top and followed by the Supreme Court. I don't know if it's going to
And
be flashing
number
on
three
that.
is Election
But
Commission.
let us
And Election
also-
Commission is trusted more than media and certainly way
That
more than
doesn't
the
augur well for the likes
certainly
of
way
us.
more than the politicians. Politicians rank in the lowest bottom,
and
and the
let's
people
also,
who trust
I mean,
it. Yeah.
be fair to the Election Commission of India. When asked who should be, imposing the rules on freebies, they put it right back to the Election Commission and say they should be stopping political parties rather than we going to courts. So there is faith in the Election Commission. It must live up to that faith. I think that's
You're
the
right.
larger
I
point.
just want to, Rajdeep, because there's a dichotomy there, because we've been speaking for the, about the opposition, and Sanjay Jha, you can come in on this. It's something that you touched on earlier as well, that how the opposition has not been able to perform. And I'll tell you, the irony lies in these two questions. Do you think, and I'll ask our producers to pull the data out on both the questions. The question that was posed, Rajdeep, do you think Congress is real opposition party? There's the real party to lead the opposition. Yes, 55% of the respondents feel it is the Congress that should lead the opposition. Now, I'll tell you the other question, and let's flip it around. Is Congress the weakest link in the India bloc? 62% of the people actually feel Congress is the weakest link in the India bloc. Sanjay Jha, when you're looking at figures and data like this with what the voters today feel, there is despondency, because it sees that Tina factor, there is no other option. You're stuck with the Congress, but the Congress continues to be the weakest link, pulling the opposition down.
Preeti, this is exactly what I said to Rajdeep in the previous section of your Mood of the Nation program, that the Congress has to do the heavy lifting. The Congress is not just seen, it is a fact that the Congress will always be, even at its worst performance, the largest player in the India bloc alliance. The problem is that the Congress at this point of time is struggling with its own organizational dynamic, not yet got its act together. It's not yet demonstrating the hunger that is required. But there is another aspect that is very critical. I believe, and I'm going to say this to both Rajdeep and you and Mr. Chengappa as well, beating down Rahul Gandhi has become a national sport. And with due respects to everyone who's critical of him, I have been critical. I believe Rahul has to still do significantly better electorally for sure. But can we recognize that this has not been a level playing field for a long, long time? Can we recognize that the entire resources, whether it is electoral bond or thereafter on account of fear, is with the BJP? Can we also kind of acknowledge that the institutions have been so destroyed that today opposition leaders are hounded? They're completely, shall we say, at the mercy of various brutal organizations which have intimidated them, threatened them, harassed them. And with due respects to India today, I think you guys are doing significantly better than the rest. But big media has also been hugely compromised. Rahul Gandhi is fighting, and the Congress is fighting with terrible headwinds. This is not a level playing field. I'm not even going to get into the Election Commission issue. Mr. Rajdeep, just one point. On the Odisha state elections, there is proof on the ground that the integrity of that state election in 2024 needs to be investigated. If there is a chief minister of a state in BJP who is openly saying that the SIR deletions will help reduce a certain Muslims from the community and help him politically polarize the election, where is the Election Commission? Where is the Supreme Court of India? These are fundamental issues that we cannot ignore. We are a dysfunctional, we are a democracy in decline.
I think the word that, it's a word I've also used frequently, LPL, or level playing field. And I think that is something that Tuhin Sinha, most independent observers, I use the word, would suggest is true. There is no level playing field. I'm not saying there was a level playing field when the Congress was a dominant party, but it seems to have become even more brazen, the alleged misuse of institutions. You see, this is where the BJP is seen, perhaps to be doing a disservice to democracy. You were supposed to be a party with a difference, but the misuse of enforcement agencies, the so-called cage parrot of the CBI, now you have the Enforcement Directorate. 95% of those leaders who have been who have charges against them are from the opposition. It almost seems that the ED does not operate in BJP-ruled states. A lot of public perception and mood of the nation polls like this is built on the perception created. You are seen to control the media, intimidate your opponents, misuse agencies. How do you respond to what we just heard from Sanjay Jha? There is no level playing field. That's the biggest caveat to any poll like this.
LPL has become a very convenient word to blame us for being successful. Now, if there is an increase, if there is a spurt in our ratings, there are two factors. It's very simple. We keep continuing to add to our list of successes. For example, in the last 6 months, just the last 6 months on the national security front, there has been Operation Sindoor. Post that, we are heading towards, we are on the cusp of a Naxal-free Bharat. Mind you, that's a huge achievement, which, not many in the media are talking about, but from 100 districts which were impacted in 2014 to less than 4 being impacted, that's a huge success. So we are adding to our list of successes. On the economic front, despite tariffs, we continue to grow at a 7.2% projected rate. That's huge. And obviously, the GST relief has been used. On the other hand,
Nobody's
Rahul
denying
Gandhi,
it.
if you look
And one second, allow me. Nobody is denying what you're saying, and possibly it is reflecting in our headline numbers, where people still, the respondents still have more faith in the NDA by a far shot than the opposition. But I'll give you an example, because look at the numbers as well. See what happened in Bihar, where freebies were doled out bang in the middle of elections. The same election commission then, come BMC, doesn't allow the freebies to go. That is where then you have apprehensions that come up, which raise a question mark on institutions that need to be free and fair. And those numbers are reflecting. Look at the question: who is responsible for stopping parties from promising freebies? Election Commission. But when the Election Commission, on one hand, allows these freebies to go in Bihar, and then on the other hand, stops it in BMC, what are you going to make of it? Go ahead, sir.
Now, allow me to answer, please. If you are comparing assembly elections, you should compare it with another assembly elections. You should compare Bihar with Jharkhand. I was in Jharkhand in 2024 November on the eve of elections. One day before the polling, the Maiya Samman amount was transferred to the accounts of all women in the state.
Every time a question on the Election Commission and the sanctity of the Election Commission is raised, why is the BJP so eager to come and start giving in explanations on that? You don't need to. You don't need to explain on how the Election Commission is functioning.
I'm just requesting you to draw the right equivalence. You can't. I'm just suggesting you draw the right equivalence. BMC does not even come under the Election Commission. Point is, these things have been happening. Whether they should happen, the freebie should happen or not, is a collective decision. All parties should get together and they should formulate a plan. But if there is a precedent in Jharkhand 1 year ago, you can't blame the Bihar government for doing the same.
Okay,
there's a huge difference between Jharkhand and Bihar to him, but that's another day. That's a conversation for another day.
Let me turn to a question that we wanted to ask earlier, but what are the NDAs? We're looking at the opposition, and as was suggested, Rahul Gandhi always is a favorite. Rahul bashing is very easy. But where is the BJP, the NDA scoring? Where is it not? If you look at the NDA government's biggest achievement, and this is held for a while now, Chengappa, 12% say Ram Temple. The temple is now, 2 years old, and yet it held. Operation Sindoor is 4%. So it's not, when you look at it, you would have thought since it's more recent, people would talk about Operation Sindoor with greater passion. They clearly don't. Development, 9%. Since that was an argument just now made by one of our panelists that the NDA is associated with development. So, in terms of issues, it's the emotive Hindutva issue which still resonates the more. What is the biggest failure of the NDA government?
Let me just correct you on that one. There is a correction. There is a correction in that.
Biggest failure.
No, that's important. That's important. Please listen to Raj.
Biggest success, what you had mentioned, for the first time in our polls, it is political stability that is the biggest success of the NDA.
Okay, so you're saying down that list,
it is 15%, and mind you, Rajdeep, this is a phenomenon. We have asked this question over various MOTNs in the past few years. For the first time, we are seeing political stability as the #1 achievement of it, pushing down both the Article 370
pushed down the Ram Temple
and the Ram Temple.
So we will correct that graphic. 15% you're saying political stability is the #1 issue. Now look at the weaknesses of this government. When you look at the weaknesses, number one, and this has steadily remained a weakness of this government when this poll has been done, is unemployment. 27% is the biggest failure. So you've got political stability as the success, price rise. The NDA, of course, claims that one of its successes is that it's ensured inflation, at least in the headline numbers, has remained low. Economic growth, 7%. So all the failures are linked to economic issues. The successes are linked to political stability and the core Hindutva issue, which Ram Temple in a way exemplifies.
Just one
Does this
clarification,
reflect, just a minute,
Yeah.
does this reflect in a way Mr. Modi's strength? Mr. Modi is providing stable leadership, he has trust factor, and he brings Hindutva on the table. And when you put it all together, it becomes a pretty impressive statistic. So even if I'm concerned about unemployment, I concern price rise, every poll will show you're concerned about price rise. I've never seen a poll where people are not concerned about prices. It suggests that Mr. Modi, the individual, embodies stability and embodies Hindutva nationalism, and that remains the NDA's biggest strength.
Agreed, Rajdeep, on the positive side of it. And in fact, our cover headline is delivering stability. And that's the reason why the numbers that you see in terms of the BJP and NDA has gone up in an age of great turmoil that we see in an era of turmoil, global, regional, and even domestic. He stands as someone with a great deal of resilience, economic and political. And if you flip it to the other side, which is the failures, as you said, it's routine for our polls to show unemployment and inflation being on top of the list, and of course, economic issues. But here there is a very interesting variation. For the first time, we are seeing, after many, many MOTNs, that there is actually a dip in the percentage of people who are saying, one, that unemployment is their biggest problem, is down by 2%. And really significant is the fact that unemployment figures that is being reflected is a 10% drop as compared to previously. It has actually, the number of people saying that unemployment is a serious problem has dropped by 10%. So therefore, we need to analyze what is that issue. Now here, when you look at another question that we have posed, which are the most important issues, again, unemployment and inflation figure. So something, we have to try and decipher what the issue is. I was speaking to Yashwant earlier about this matter because there is a paradoxical situation that has emerged in this. And one of the reasons, if you look at the fact that they talk of unemployment being serious, and yet when it comes to the rating of the failures, this begins to be of lesser intensity, is that that the government's doles towards women, for instance, across the country, means that 50% of the workforce seems satisfied. Two, I would say that the government's giving, say, income tax free for 12 lakhs and below had brought something like 30 million or a large number of people not in that bracket, not paying tax anymore, which put more money in their hands. So even if much of it is aspirational, if you have a low-paying job, you want a better job, maybe people are saying, okay, I've got this job, so therefore the rush into the market is not as much. It's a very difficult thing to explain.
So in a way, Mr. Modi, to summarize, has managed to a large extent contain a sense of economic distress through targeted schemes that benefit various sections of society. Therefore, even with troubled global headwinds, with difficult economic conditions, he's not allowed the distress to become overwhelming, which is an important plus in a way.
And just let's add to
that the political stability that he's seen to provide.
And also that inflation is at its lowest. Let's not forget, high prices have always been an issue. As we mentioned earlier, this is a Goldilocks period where you have low inflation between 2 to 4%, which is within the acceptable limits that the RBI wants, and therefore it's been dropping the repo rate, and high growth. So one of the big factors, prices, people feel that they are getting value for their money, and therefore you see the resistance. But let's be very clear, economic issues, as we'll see later on the polls as well, if those numbers come in, remain the dominant issue of this electorate.
There are multiple
Yes,
things.
we've
There are
seen that
multiple
drop,
things
because
that
if you
work.
if you look at it from 2024, and if you look at the tracker of unemployment tracked, I think, in the MOTN poll in 2024, the poll that you did right after the general elections was at the highest.
Quite high.
Berozgari was a narrative that the opposition went with. It stuck in places like Uttar Pradesh, and since then we've seen a steady drop. And on the, at least where MOTN polls are concerned, on unemployment. But what's bolstered it also, where we talk about stability, political stability, since then, Yashwant, election after election, You've had the BJP winning these elections, conveying a sense of stability, and then the inflation is low. It all makes the perfect storm which works in favor of Prime Minister Modi.
Every election that BJP has won since then, there is a common line, that is the cash dole to the female voters. All right. So this is what actually me and Raj were discussing, that this is looking at paradoxical, and that's why I went into a kind of a data digging and, you know, why exactly is this happening? And I could realize that a significant chunk of female voters who were saying that unemployment is the main issue, that has come down, and that has brought down because of the cash doles, definitely. But you know, Rajdeep, there is something which is like, we ask this question day in and day out. What is the biggest issue our country is facing at this point of time? And we always ask the second question, who according to you is likely to give a solution to this? I mean, who do you trust more to give it? And this is where, bottom line, I've realized that the trustworthiness of brand Modi outscores everything else. You know, when you ask those who are saying unemployment is the biggest issue, there is a 1:2 ratio between Rahul Gandhi and Narendra Modi, saying Narendra Modi can give a solution to this. When you talk about inflation as the biggest issue, there is almost a 1:2 ratio. So the same ratio is in the vote share of the Congress and the BJP. The same ratio is in the popularity rating of Narendra Modi and Rahul Gandhi. And one critical important piece of information, if you look into this, you will realize, Rajdeep, that Narendra Modi's numbers are way more than NDA's number, while Rahul Gandhi's numbers are way less than the India numbers. I think there is something which is still missing in that big piece of jigsaw puzzle.
Okay.
Rahul Gandhi is there, but somehow is still, he has managed successfully one thing, Rajdeep, that's sowing the doubt among his die-hard supporters that I am not losing, I am losing because the game is fixed and election commission is fixed. That part, his own supporters have bought it wonderfully, no doubt about that. But is he able to swing the middle of the ground voters towards the Congress and towards Rahul Gandhi? That is not happening.
And just
there is one headline number that I always throw. In 2009 Lok Sabha elections, the Congress won roughly 11.2 or 11.3 crore voters. The BJP was at about 7.4 crore voters. Fast forward to 2024, the BJP's voters have gone up to 22 crores, the Congress is up to 13. What does it show? The Congress's voters have remained more or less the same. The BJP has added new voters. And it is when they've added new voters that you're able to successfully win election after election. And therefore, there is no magic formula. There is a lot what Sanjay Jha says that needs to be looked at very carefully. I think next time that question should be asked, is there a level playing field in Indian politics? Or do you believe one side has a huge advantage over the other? Direct question. I think if there is any suggestion, I think Yashwant needs to put some harder, more direct. Do you really trust the election commission? Not generic questions. So if that comes out, I think some of the nuances will come out. But it's clear at the moment, Preeti, that brand Modi is far more trusted than his competition. And once that happens, the fact is you have an extremely durable leader. I don't know where else in the world at the moment, 12 years into power, you're still seeing these pretty impressive numbers. And that, in a way, the economics call it what, Goldilocks moment. But politically also, the stability factor gives Mr. Modi a huge edge over the competition.
Well, you're right there, Rajdeep, and especially if you look at it now, if you look at the tracker, now I think, Raj, one can safely say that 2024 general election was a blip.
No,
do you think we can say
I think there are a vastly different set of circumstances. I'd just like to add to one more point that Yashwant was making. One of the reasons why Mr. Modi comes across as the champion of political stability is because the opposition has lost so many elections, is so fragmented that no one wants to trust in these very, very troubled times a leader that is unable to navigate his own party and try and run the nation. I think Mr. Modi demonstrates, as the BJP does, that it is not only does he have a very solid party, he's very clear in terms of the vision that he has for the country. And let's take a look at the reforms that he has brought about. He talks of the reform
We'll talk of the reforms in the next segment, Raj.
I just want to add that
reform, no, we've run out of time. The Reform Express is in the next segment. The state of the economy is what we will discuss next. When we return, that's precisely the question. Prime Minister says we are on a reform express. Do the people agree? The mood of the nation on the economy comes up next. You're watching our biannual mood check. Mood of the nation, India Today, See Voter Poll.